Good afternoon, everyone. This is Laura Tibbetts in the system office. I'm showing that we have our chair and one of our committee members present. So with that, I'll turn the call over to Chair Flores.
Thank you, Laura. Good afternoon. This is Regent Don Flores, and welcome to the Telephonic Academic and Health Affairs Committee meeting for Monday, July 31st, 2023. For the record, the time is 2 o'clock. This meeting has been duly posted with the Secretary of State as required by the Open Meetings Law. Please note the audio of this meeting is being broadcast live. Before we take a roll call, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute their phones unless you need to speak. Laura, let's begin the roll call with the regents.
Thank you, Chair Flores. And for the sake of time, I'm going to just keep going after the regents and do the complete roll call. So starting with you, Chair Flores.
Present.
Regent Lee.
Here.
Regent Gordy is absent. Do we have any other regents on the call? Thank you. Moving down to the system staff, do we have Chancellor McCall? He's also traveling, so he may be joining us in a minute. Dr. Hayek?
Here.
Sean Cunningham?
Here.
Daniel Harper?
Here.
Derek Alexander?
Here.
Nellie Herrera?
Here.
Carol Fox?
Here.
Ashley Spicer Reynolds? Here. Pierce Mitchell?
Here.
And did I miss anyone from the system office? Great, thank you. Moving to our institutions, beginning with Lamar.
Jaime Taylor here at Lamar.
Dan Brown.
And that's it.
Vicki McNeil.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Vicki. Moving down to Sam Houston.
Elisa White.
Mike Stevenson.
Thank you. Sol Ross.
Carlos Hernandez.
Bernie Cantons.
Thank you, gentlemen. Texas State.
Kelly Damphus.
Jean Bourgeois.
Okay, I see a couple others from Texas State with us, but moving on to LIT.
Sid Valentine, Mary Wickland, and Angela Hill.
Thank you, Dr. Valentine. Lamar State College Orange.
Tom Johnson and Wendy Elmore.
And finally, Lamar. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Betty Renard and Pam Millsap.
Okay, great. And that was with Port Arthur. All right. And that concludes roll call. Did I miss anyone? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I'd also note that Dr. Hayek had a chance to brief me on the agenda items last week. So at this time, I'm turning the meeting over to John, who will present the Academic Health Affairs Committee agenda items.
Thank you, Chair Flores, and good afternoon, everyone. We have a number of items, both action items and consent items today, in addition to a record number of new doctoral programs coming forward with Texas State. And so just to simplify our logistics for everyone, I'd recommend and discuss with Chair Flores that we kind of move through our action items, each one at a time, taking the necessary votes other than the Texas State doctoral programs. And then we'll move to the consent agenda items, and then we'll take a vote on those collectively. And then we will move into the Texas State doctoral programs, just in case other folks on the line have other meetings that they need to go to. So with that, we'll jump right in with 3A, Lamar University approval of their new strategic plan. President.
Good afternoon, Regent Flores and members of our regents and system staff. Last fall, Lamar University faculty and staff participated in a mid-cycle review of the strategic plan that had been approved several years ago and under the previous campus administration. This mid-cycle review was not begun with the intent of disregarding the previous plan, as there were many good ideas within it. I would suggest, though, that our mid-cycle review has accomplished several key goals. Number one, to prioritize the many initiatives within the prior strategic plan. Number two, to align with institutional priorities established by Dr. Taylor and his team. And number three, to focus on Lamar's future in Southeast Texas and beyond as we prepare to launch into our second century this fall. Within your document, you'll see that a preamble describing Lamar's unique history, which notes that unlike most universities of our type, we were not founded as a normal school or teachers college. After beginning as a junior college, we became Lamar State College of Technology in 1949. Guiding principles have been defined and described that clearly state our priorities as a university. In the interest of time, I'd like to begin with our mission and vision statements. Our mission at Lamar University is to establish Lamar University as a first choice of tomorrow's leaders and career professionals. And our vision is that Lamar University will strive to educate leaders, demonstrate excellence in student learning and career readiness, and pursue research with relevance. Finally, I would briefly describe our 4 goals in this plan. As has been the case throughout, we have attempted to clearly and succinctly provide directions to our future and have identified 4 goals that all divisions, colleges, and units on campus can connect with. Number 1, excellence. We strive for the situation where quality is truly being the best of something and that excellence means greatness. Success, number 2, where we will strive to achieve desired goals, not necessarily as a destination, but as a journey that helps develop the resources that are needed to thrive. Number 3, engagement, a level of enthusiasm and dedication that will bring us to greater heights of productivity and performance. And number 4, effectiveness, the capability of achieving intended or expected outcomes at Lamar University as we manage and invest our resources effectively and efficiently. As you will note in the document provided to the board book, we have identified initiatives and outcomes associated with those 4 goals that you can review. With your approval, our divisions, colleges, and units will identify their specific contributions to this plan by October 1st. And we will begin measuring our achievement of these goals with a plan update and the submissions from across campus by June 15th, 2024. I would close by commenting briefly on the title of our plan, Our Moment is Now. President Taylor's arrival has provided a sense of urgency on campus and brought home the understanding of how important everyone's work is to our students, their families and communities, our region and its industries, and our state, region, and nation. Located at the heart of the energy corridor, and as we launch into our second century, we truly believe that now is our moment at Lamar University. Thank you.
Thank you. Do committee members, are there any questions? Do committee members agree to move this item to the full board? Regent Lee?
I do.
Thank you. Back to you, John.
Great. The next item, 3B, is a Sam Houston State item, a new degree program, a Bachelor of Arts in Educational Studies. President White?
This is Mike Stevenson covering for President White. The proposed 100% online BA in Ed Studies is designed for students who wish to study education and work in education-related fields, but do not wish to be certified as K-12 teachers. The 10-year job growth projection for this target occupation is a 12.1% growth in the state of Texas. This motion requests approval to add a Bachelor of Arts in Educational Studies effective spring of 2024.
Thank you. Any questions? I'm sorry. Okay, if there's no questions, does committee member Regent Lee agree to move this to the full board?
I do.
Thank you.
Chair Flores, this is Laura. Would you mind also, since the 2 of you represent the quorum, if you would also say that you agree after you ask? Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Great. Next item is another Sam item, Sam Houston item, Bachelor of Arts in Learning Technology. Dr. Stevenson?
Yes, this also is a 100% online professional practice undergraduate program designed to prepare individuals in education to lead the integration of technology into different types of instructional curricula and human learning. The 10-year job growth projection for the BA target occupations is 13.5% in Texas. This motion requests approval to add the BA in learning technology effective spring of 2024.
Thank you. Regent Lee, any questions?
No, sir.
I agree in moving this to the full board. Regent Lee, do you concur?
I do.
Thank you.
Great. The next item is 3D, a Sul Ross State University item, adding a new Masters of Science in Forensic Science. President Hernandez or Dr. Kentens?
Is all defer to Dr. Kentens for laying this item out.
I thank you, Chancellor Haig. Sul Ross University is asking for authorization for a new Master of Science degree in Forensic Science. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment of forensic science technicians is projected to grow 11% from 2021 to 2031, much faster than the average for all occupations. About 2,500 openings for forensic science technicians are projected for each year on average over the decade. The proposed forensic science digital forensics concentration will help students have and develop skills that will enable them to analyze cybercrime to inform practitioners, policymakers, and the public. As the demand for more experts grow, higher education can meet the growing needs of cyberspace and homeland security for the government and private sectors.
Thank you. Any questions? Regent Lee, do you agree to move this to the full board?
I certainly do.
I concur also. Thank you.
Great. Next item is another Sul Ross item, a new certificate in border security and management. Dr. Kentens?
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Haig. Sul Ross State University is asking for authorization for a new certificate, graduate certificate in border security and management. The Border Security and Management Graduate Certificate is open to candidates who hold a bachelor's degree. The certificate is designed to offer a customized professional development opportunity and is ideal for federal, state, and local emergency management officials, law enforcement personnel, and members of the military, as well as employees connected with the Department of Homeland Security, United States Border Patrol, Customs, and other federal agencies looking for a broad-based border security and management education.
Thank you. Any questions? Regent Lee, do you agree to move this item to the full board?
I very much do.
I also concur. Thank you.
Great. The next item is the final item for Sul Ross State University, a very exciting item at that. Planning authority for a new doctoral of education degree in educational leadership. President Hernandez or Dr. Kentens?
Let me start by just saying a few comments. We're very happy to submit this particular item, and it'll be the first ever doctoral program at Sul Ross State University. And I'll ask Dr. Kentens to lay it out for the board.
So Sul Ross State University is asking for authorization to initiate planning for a Doctor of Education and Educational Leadership in the College of Education and Professional Studies. This would be Sul Ross State University's first doctoral program. The program will be designed to produce professionals seeking a terminal degree through exclusively online instruction. The goal of the new EDD at Sul Ross will be to prepare students to lead the future in education for K through 12 and higher education institutions and organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Regent Flores, the one question I would have is what is the time? I mean, I understand that it could be offered as soon as 2024, being that this is our first doctorate program at Sul Ross. You know, what does that process look like, and what's the likelihood that we are actually able to begin in fall of 2024?
I'm going to have to ask Dr. Haig to answer that. My question is, you have to still, my thought is that it still has to be approved by the coordinating board, and that's a quick 1 year turnaround. But Dr. Haig, would you like to comment on that?
Sure, I'm glad to, and I'm sure President Hernandez and Dr. Cantens can add to it as well. So this is planning authority, and so this really gives the campus an opportunity to initiate the planning and development of the program. Sul Ross will come forward after the planning. They'll take a look at the demographics. They'll take a look at the supply and demand. They'll take a look at the faculty credentials, look at the resources needed for the program, how to create a unique program to attract students, doctoral students to the institution from an online perspective. And when all that information is put together, all that research is put together, then they'll come forward with a proposal to the board for approval. And so you're right, Regent Lee, that process could take, about a year in time. Sometimes it can take a little less. I mean, obviously with Sul Ross's 100-year history of being a teacher's college, they have a lot of expertise in this area. And so the timing might be able to get through a little quicker, but given that it's their first doctoral program as well, that they're going to want to do obviously everything at the highest level possible. President Hernandez or Dr. Cantens, would you like to add to that?
Yes, Regent Lee, I'd like to add a couple of comments, and that is that we've already been working on this diligently over the last 6 to 9 months, gathering much of the information that the THECB will be requiring is demonstrated capacity to provide this instructional activity going forward. Provost Cantens, the Dean of the College of Education, and other leaders on campus have been participating in the design of the curriculum, as well as in gathering all the credentialing information. So we're prepared to submit our completed application to the THECBs early in the fall semester for their consideration at their earliest convenience. Dr. Cantens?
Yeah, I would just add that we do have a master's already, and so we have graduate. We've been already for many years in the graduate world in that field and discipline, and in the graduate program, the master's program is also completely online.
Okay. Thank you for the question and the discussion. Regent Lee, do you agree to move this item to the full board?
I certainly do.
Thank you. I concur.
Great. The next item is 3G. It's a Texas State University item, transfer admission standards, change to transfer admission standards. President Dampus or Dr. Bourgeois?
I'll defer to Gene on this.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. John. So what this does is replace our current admission requirement for transfer students. We currently are at 16 to 29 transferable hours, brings these new transfer students in. We would like to drop that 16 to 15. This puts us more in alignment with our competitors in the state of Texas. And given the new funding protocols at the state, community colleges will earn funding if students who have earned 15 hours transfer to a four-year institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Regent Lee, do you agree to move this item to the full board?
I do.
Thank you. I concur. Back to you.
Right. As we discussed earlier, we're going to hold on items 3H through 3R. So we'll hold on those until the end of the meeting. And so that will move us to item 3S right now, Lamar State College Orange, new program approval for building construction technology certificates and associate applied science degree. President Johnson or Dr. Elmore?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Hayek. So Lamar State College Orange is asking to be authorized to create a new building construction technology certificate and a degree. We are aware of employment of the construction trade and the growth potential that right now nationwide is 4% over the next decade. However, we know regionally it even exceeds that threshold. The population growth will result in more new home construction as well as construction of factories and industries and other commercial buildings. So it will result in growth over the next decade. The proposed programs that are before you will meet all of the requirements and guidelines for approval by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, as well as Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. I would entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions? Regent Lee, do you agree to move the item to the full board?
I do.
Thank you. I concur. Next.
Right, next we'll move directly into the consent agenda items as we typically do. We'll just ask the institutions to move one item after the next, and we'll pause for questions at the end of an institutional list of items, and then we'll vote on the consent items as a whole at the very end. So Lamar University, 3U. Dr. Brown.
Dan Brown again. We'll move quickly through our degree plan changes. Very simply stated, when we look at the Bachelor of Music and Performance in Winds or Percussion, we are reducing the number of credits required for degree completion from 134 to 120 to be aligned with the state requirement. For our mechanical engineering degree plan, we are replacing one junior course with 2 sophomore courses in the major. And then we're going to replace thermodynamics 2 with a free technical elective. And there's a very nice description of why that is the case in the description of this request. Our third request is with the Bachelor of Music and Composition degree plan, where once again, we are reducing the number of credits to 120 hours and in line with the state requirement for the degree, and consolidating a variety of tracks into one degree program. Next, we have the Bachelor of Music and Performance in Voice degree plan. Once again, we currently require 131 credits, and now with this degree plan change, we'll require only 120 to complete the degree. In the Lamar University Bachelor of Science and Electrical Engineering degree plan, our chairs have been working extensively on reviewing our curriculum and thinking about how we modernize that to better fit today's workforce and the demands of the external agencies. And in this case, we are essentially revising the curricula in modest ways in order to make the program more marketable, and also modernizing a curriculum that, it never hurts to go through these technical curricula on a regular basis and determine what the next best fit is. We have proposed a number of new elective courses, that will be added to the degree plan. And then we have new courses that are proposed to be added as well. We have, again, many of these courses are already on the books. Finally, nursing, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. One of the things that's interesting here is we've gone from 3 courses in the degree program to replace them with 2 courses, largely because of the challenge that one of those courses, Nurse 2213, was a prerequisite for admission to the nursing school. Now that we get rid of that, we take the content that is required for nursing accreditation and move that into an upper division course. So with that, those are the degree plan changes. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the Performance in Piano Music degree. Once again, we're taking 134 credits and 2 degree tracks, consolidating the 2 tracks and bringing it down to the 120-hour maximum number of hours for the baccalaureate degree. And that concludes our degree plan changes for this meeting at the Board of Regents.
Great, thank you, Dr. There are no questions. We'll move into a number of certificate additions from Sam Houston State University, in addition to a deletion of a program. Dr. Stevenson?
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Hayek. I will move through these pretty quickly. The first is the addition of a graduate certificate in project methods and tools. It's a 100% online graduate certificate. Target occupation shows a projected growth of 21% in the Texas workforce over the next several years. The next is a certificate program addition, a graduate certificate in quality management tools, a 100% online 12 semester credit hour graduate certificate designed to enhance the tools such as root cause analysis, benchmarking, affinity diagrams, and earned value analysis. And we expect a 20.1% growth in the Texas workforce in the next few years. The next one is the addition of an undergraduate certificate in communication for sports professionals. This is an 18-semester credit hour undergraduate certificate, which builds from our existing undergraduate courses. This can be earned as either a standalone certificate or it can be awarded on the way towards earning a bachelor's degree. We anticipate growth in the state at 12.2% for these positions. The next is an undergraduate certificate in crime analysis and mapping. This is an online or face-to-face 16-semester credit hour undergraduate certificate that provides a pathway for interdisciplinary program students to work in both the College of Criminal Justice and the College of Science and Engineering Technology. This is a unique, valuable, and in-demand skill set. The next is a proposed addition of an undergraduate certificate in geospatial applications. This is an online or face-to-face 16-semester credit hour undergraduate certificate that allows students to learn about GIS and related software applications, geospatial technology, mapping, cartography, and geospatial analysis. The next is an undergraduate certificate in woodwind performance pedagogy. This is a 14-semester credit hour non-degree undergraduate certificate designed for undergraduate music students who are interested in intensive training and further development of performance and pedagogy skills in multiple woodwinds. And then finally, we are asking to delete the Master of Science in Family and Consumer Sciences. The program enrollment was only 11 students from August 2012 to May of 2017. It has been decreased interest and there are no students currently enrolled in the program. And I believe that captures all of our consent items.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Stevenson. With that, we'll move on to Lamar State College Orange, which has several consent items as well. Dr. Elmore?
Thank you, Dr. Hyatt. So we've revamped our welding program, and in doing so, it has created 2 new welding certificates, one for the pipe welding track and one for a track in layout and fabrication. This was done with much inclusion of our industry partners and at their recommendation. Their influence obviously is in hopes of providing a skilled workforce to the area businesses that are currently understaffed for. So the 2 new program certificate proposals are in existence. They will replace our current welding certificate, which leads to that program deletion of the welding certificate. And then we have modified the dual credit certificate as well as the degree, again, to account for these 2 new tracks that were influenced by our regional partners. So those 3 consent agenda items are all related to the welding program and the changes that have come about over the past year or so in our industry partner advisory committees. And then we have a program modification for our electromechanical technology associate's degree. Basically, there were 2 skill sets that were missing, and they have been inserted into our curriculum with a little bit of a redesign. We've added the skill sets of compression and mechanical drives, and then the skill set of flow and calibration. So that basically has adjusted some of the content within our existing degree, and it now will align better with our industry demands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And the final, Regent Flores, the final consent item is a system, a collective item for out-of-state, out-of-country study programs. That's 3MM. That's just a routine approval of those items. And so that finalized the consent items. Regent Flores, would you like to take a collective vote on the consent items to move those forward?
That would be appropriate. Any questions first? If not, Regent Lee, do you agree to move the consent items to the full board?
I do.
I do too. Thank you.
Great. And so with that, we will come back to our proposals from Texas State University with their 11 new doctoral programs that they're coming forward with. Very exciting times. And with that, to provide some context, I will turn it over to President Dampus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And And let me just start by saying I will be brief here, and I'll turn over to Sri Raman and to Jean to discuss in greater detail. We currently have 12 PhD programs, 1 EDD, and 1 professional doctoral program. So 14 doctoral programs overall. By way of comparison, the other schools that are included in the Texas University Fund, University of North Texas has 33 PhD programs. University of Houston has 44. And Texas Tech has 51. So we are behind in the number of PhD programs compared to our peer comparison group that we want to catch up a little bit on that. So we have a two-pronged approach to becoming an R1 institution. One is to fund at a higher level the current PhD programs that we have, so we get more graduates or more doctoral students into those programs, more graduates out of them in time for the count that will happen at the end of 2026. We also want to increase the number of PhD doctoral programs that we have in addition. So we've proposed 11 new doctoral programs, 5 face-to-face and 6 online. And then we will be reviewing other PhD proposals from the faculty later on this month. But these are 11 that we have on the docket right now. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn discussion of this over to Sri Raman Vetaraman, who will walk us through the 12 or the 11 PhD programs that we've got proposed. And Jean may want to weigh in as well.
And I'll just note, Chair Flores as well, if it's okay with you, I might suggest we kind of move one after the other and kind of collectively vote on the whole, unless you or Regent Lee want to take one out and vote separately on it, but that might save us a little time for voting.
Yes, so let's proceed that way.
Okay, so Sharaman, I think you might as well just go ahead through them one by one, beginning with our DBA proposal.
Thank you. In terms of the need, the exponential growth of data, along with the need for managers to make evidence-based decisions, suggests there's an unmet need for business professionals with enhanced knowledge in applying research skills in business setting. That was the impetus for the degree. The DBA provides students with an opportunity to differentiate themselves in a competitive job market where a master's degree is becoming more commonplace. Also, the growth of businesses in Austin and San Antonio, with the growth, there is a growing demand for business professionals who possess advanced business knowledge and research and data analytics skills to make evidence-based decisions. Within Texas, currently, there are only 4 DBA programs, and each of the 4 were established from 2021 onwards, indicating a significant interest in these programs. The program will require 54 semester credit hours for master's level entry. The projected enrollment in the first year is 30, and the cumulative enrollment by the occasion of the 5th year will be 278. May I continue?
Please.
Please. Okay. The second program is our online EDD in curriculum and instruction. This program addresses the growing demand for curriculum and instructional leaders who possess advanced knowledge and skills in curriculum development, instructional design, and effective leadership practices. This 100% online program differentiates our program from existing EDD programs in Texas by enabling students to balance full-time employment and doctoral studies. The program requires 54 credit hours for master's level entry, 78 for bachelor's level entry. The projected enrollment for year 1 is 20, and the cumulative enrollment by the 5th year is 96. The next program is an online PhD in construction management. Due to rapid changes in digital and material technologies, legislative and regulatory environments, sustainability and environmental concerns, professionals with advanced training are in need to meet the demands of the 21st century construction industry. There are only 10 universities in the US that offer a doctoral degree in construction management and only one in Texas. Entrepreneurship is a part of this program, as 63% of construction companies in the US are family-owned small businesses. The unique curriculum is delivered 100% online, and it will differentiate us from the other program in Texas, which is a face-to-face program. The program calls for 54 credit hours for master's level entry and 78 semester credit hours for bachelor's level entry. Enrollment in the first year is anticipated at 31. Cumulative enrollment by the fifth year will be 123. The next program is an online PhD in engineering management. The proposed degree will focus on developing practical and research skills in areas related to the improvement, design, and management of projects and programs within engineering systems, healthcare systems, service systems, and logistical/transportation systems. Texas Tech University is the only other Texas university to offer a PhD in engineering management, and produce about 6 to 8 doctoral level graduates per year. That falls grossly short of the demand on an annual basis. Our program is also to be delivered 100% online. It'll be the first and the only fully online program in engineering management in Texas. The program calls for 54 credit hours for master's level entry, 78 for bachelor's level entry. Projected enrollment for year one is 30, and the cumulative enrollment by the fifth year is 156.
Dr. Sraman, I just want to, before you go on, I just want to let Regent Flores, Chair Flores, and Regent Lee know, and some others that are following us, that I believe Dr. Sraman's going through the online programs first, it sounds like, and then going through the in-person. So just want to make sure people, as we're following, that's kind of what's occurring here.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
The next online program is a DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice. In nursing practice, the target audience for this proposed postmaster's degree will be master's prepared nurses seeking career advancement opportunities through doctoral education. The DNP, which was created in the end of 1990s, provides a terminal doctoral degree for advanced practice nurses and nurse executives to address the increased complexity of patient care, need for specialization in roles, and the growing need for highly educated nurse administrators. The program requires 41 credit hours for master's level entry. Projected enrollment for year one is 12, and the cumulative enrollment projections for year 5 are 44. The next and the last of the online programs is an online PhD program in sport management. Sport management is growing rapidly in Texas and around the world. Global sport revenues are expected to grow by over $140 billion in the next 5 years. And Texas has the largest sport ecosystem in the United States. Currently, there are no standalone PhD degrees in sport management in Texas. This proposed PhD program will be offered 100% online, making it the first and only fully online program in Texas. Graduates of this program will find jobs in a variety of fields, including as advertising and promotion managers, entertainment and recreation managers, education administrators, post-secondary, agents and business managers of artists, performers, and athletes, and recreation and fitness studies teachers post-secondary. Job growth is strong. It's 2 to 3 times the national average in Texas. The program requires 54 credit hours for master's level entry and 78 for bachelor's level entry. Proposed enrollment for the first year is 20, and the cumulative enrollment projection for the 5th year is 173. So that concludes all of the online doctoral programs. I'm now moving on to face-to-face, of which there are 5. The first is a PhD in mathematics. This program is a complement to a very successful and long-standing PhD in math education. Nationally, there is a pressing need for doctoral graduates who understand mathematics and mathematics applications in engineering, computer science, and technology. Many aspects of this program are very applied in nature, so they touch upon areas such as combinatorics, graph theory, cryptography, operations research, coding theory. So it's a industry facing kind of program. The program requires 42 credit hours for master's level entry and 72 for bachelor's level entry. Projected enrollment for year 1 is 10, and cumulative enrollment by the 5th year is 40. The next is a PhD in integrated molecular and biophysical chemistry. The proposed program will train PhD level biochemists, biophysicists, and chemists for the growing biomedical and life science industry in Texas and the nation. Texas is a leader in biotechnology and life science research, with over 5,000 companies currently in this sector. The number of life science and health-related companies in the Austin-San Antonio corridor is rapidly expanding. This program also, in addition to the science background, provides students with entrepreneurship, commercialization background. And so currently there are no PhD programs of this kind that focuses on training graduates for industry positions. The program requires 72 credit hours for bachelor's level entry. Projected enrollment for year 1 is 8, and the cumulative enrollment by the 5th year is 33. The next is a PhD program in mechanical and manufacturing engineering. So based on our need-based research, collected data suggests that there is a high demand for PhD graduates in mechanical engineering, manufacturing engineering, and industrial engineering, both in academia and in the industry, both in the state of Texas and the United States. The proposed PhD program will have a strong focus on commercialization, entrepreneurship, and innovation. I must add at this point, all of our science, engineering, and technology programs has this very distinctive flavor of innovation, entrepreneurship, and commercialization. The mechanical engineering program has 2 niche emphases. The first is an emphasis on Industry 4.0, which is really the 4th industrial revolution. And so it combines traditional mechanical engineering with new developments in technology like the Internet of Things, augmented and virtual reality, 3D printing, AI, and big data. The program requires 55 credit hours for master's level entry and 79 for bachelor's level entry. Projected enrollment for year 1 is 8, and the cumulative enrollment projection for year 5 is 31. The next is a PhD program in electrical engineering. Like the mechanical engineering program, the PhD in electrical engineering also is a niche combination of traditional electrical engineering with disruptive technologies, meaning Internet of Things, AI, data science, and entrepreneurship and commercialization skills. The Texas Workforce Commission reports a rapid increase in the demand for workers with a PhD in electrical engineering in Texas. The number of PhD graduates from public institutions in Texas has remained steady and does not currently meet the demand. Texas is expected to experience a remarkable 20% growth in electrical engineering jobs, with the greater Austin area leading at an astonishing 28%. The program requires 54 credit hours for master's level entry and 78 for bachelor's level entry. Projected enrollment for year 1 is 8, and the cumulative enrollment projection for year 5 is 32. The last program is a PhD in civil engineering. So our proposed civil engineering PhD program aims to address the growing need for highly skilled civil engineering professionals equipped to tackle the complex challenges of modern infrastructure. By way of background, the United States faces a national challenge to rehabilitate and modernize its aging transportation, energy, and environmental infrastructure. The US infrastructure at state and national levels have maintained below acceptable grades an average D from the American Society of Civil Engineers. In this context, it's worth mentioning that the US government recently, that is in 2022, passed a bill called the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which comes with a funding of $1.2 trillion. The state of Texas is expected to gain a major share of this funding. The program requires 49 credit hours for master's level entry and 79 for bachelor's level entry. Projected enrollment for year 1 is 9, and the projected cumulative enrollment by the 5th year is 49. That concludes all of the 11 doctoral programs.
Thank you. And now you can catch your breath.
Thank you, Sri Raman. Good job.
Very well done. Thank you. Any
Dr.
questions?
Regent Flores, Chair Flores, I was just going to ask if Dr. Bourgeois had any additional context that
Okay.
he wanted to provide as well.
Yeah, thanks, John. Well, I think that we've got 11 programs that have all been teed up. We've had faculty writing committees that have been vigorously at work on these proposals. Some of them are a little bit older in terms of how long they've been in preparation. For example, 2 of the ones that Sir Raman mentioned, mathematics, and the one in integrated molecular and biophysical chemistry. But all of them have our faculty committee support. They're working on them diligently. They're fleshing out the final budgets for them right now, along with any additional facility needs. And all represent, again, I think, areas of strength at Texas State University. And clearly, as Sir Raman and the faculty have indicated, there's a market need for every single one of these.
Thank you, Gene, for the context.
And I'll just, one additional thing, Chair Flores, I'll mention that, you know, if we get the recommendation, if Texas State gets, you know, these referred to the full board and the full board approves, then they'll work very diligently to get a full set of materials to the coordinating board and to SACS appropriately to gain their approvals as well. And the timing of those approvals is we're not quite sure yet, but the goal is to try to get as many programs as they can to up and running for fall of 24. However, that will be contingent upon final approvals, obviously of our board, and then with the coordinating board and with SACS as well.
Thank you. Any questions?
I would just applaud, you know, everybody involved in this process. This is a big step forward for Texas State, and I know it's been a lot of work, and anyway, very supportive, and I offer my full support to move this to the board at our next meeting.
Thank you, Regent Lee. Appreciate that.
Okay. Hearing no questions, Regent Lee, do you agree to move these items to the full board?
I do.
As I do. Very well done, Texas State.
Thank you, Chair Flores.
Well, thanks to everyone for calling in. Unless there's any further discussion, this concludes our telephone meeting today. I look forward to seeing everyone next week for the board meeting in Alpine at Sul Ross State University. For the record, the time is 2:50.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.